Hi, I'm Jago Macleod, and I have the greatest job in the world. I lead Kubernetes at Google, and it's never been more fun than it is right now. It's also never moved faster. As the creators and the most active maintainers of Kubernetes, I wanted to share some of what the community is working on and why, and how it'll help you make some stability in the chaos. At Google, we often write down a vision statement to help focus the team. Right now, our focus is on velocity and utilization, and I'll share why those two ideas are helping us shape the future. Kubernetes has this amazing flywheel effect. It starts with developers, gets amplified by the platform team, and then gets accelerated by the ecosystem. And we'll talk a little bit about each of those. For developers, it's all about velocity. And Kubernetes gives developers a platform that provides velocity, flexibility, and scalability without a lot of work for them. The platform team, it's about efficiency. And so you have to have operational speed, but also reliability, and of course, scaling. But the ecosystem is where the magic really happens. I talk about Kubernetes as the narrow waist of the hourglass of infrastructure. But it's not a bottleneck. It's actually a bidirectional megaphone. And it's really interesting. If you work on a framework like Ray or Slurm at the top, and you write to the Kubernetes APIs, you get access to all of the infrastructure providers and emerging hardware. And if you're a hardware provider and you integrate with Kubernetes, you are available to the entire ecosystem essentially for free. It's super powerful, and this becomes this distribution engine in both directions. It's really pretty awesome. Kubernetes emerged in a few phases. Phase one, of course, is about container orchestration, and this was the big breakthrough. We started with stateless applications and then moved on to stateful and batch and more. And phase two is the ecosystem explosion that you see, the 200 plus projects in the CNCF today. And that's that magic we just talked about. And phase three we think of as the distributed operating system for AI. But what does that mean? Operating systems really shift the focus to resource management and the extensible frameworks that let you run different kinds of workloads on the same underlying infrastructure. And then heterogeneous hardware is a place where hardware is really fun and moving fast right now. So we've been working harder than ever. Step one was about reimagining the Kubernetes relationship with the underlying hardware. And you hear about DRA, that's what that's about. And we've pretty much accomplished that. There's a lot of work still to do. The people working on it will be upset with me for saying it's done, but it's on great track. The next phase is to move into the scheduler space and let the scheduler understand the topology of the underlying hardware better. So right now, in Kubernetes 136, the workload API is emerging as this place where we're pulling in support for gang scheduling to schedule an entire job together, workload-aware preemption, and the topology that we talked about. It's really exciting, and I encourage you to check it out. So some of our core investments, we talked about topology and workload awareness. We talked about DRA. And then the agent sandbox we announced in November has really taken off to provide the safety you need to run agentic workloads at scale and safely. But why do you care? What do you care if Google thinks about Kubernetes as an operating system for AI? Well, we talked about the changing landscape, and it's moving really fast. So decoupling the applications that run on top from the hardware that run on the bottom helps you move forward and have some stability. So let's talk about agentic applications. A V1 of an agentic application probably calls out to Gemini or Claude or some model as a service provider. But maybe you want to fine tune on some specific data you have or sensitive data that you don't want to share broadly or outside your own premises. So the Gemma family of models from Google have been highly customized across different domains, from medical situations to translation to even talking to dolphins, which I think is pretty funny and cool. And so maybe you want to try the Gemma models to fine tune. Thinking Machine Labs came up with a product called Tinker, and they implemented a really simple and flexible API for fine tuning. There's another project called SkyRL that runs primarily on Ray that also pivoted and adopted that API. So it's becoming somewhat of a standard. So like all of you, we at Google want to experiment. We created GKE Labs, and one of the experiments is here. It's called OpenRL. And it's a way that you can develop your training loop locally on your laptop and then deploy and scale it on Kubernetes in minutes. It's super easy and fun. You should try it out. Now, is this the thing that's going to win in the industry? Is this the thing that's going to take off? I honestly have no idea, but that's not the point. The point is that there will be dozens, hundreds, thousands of these things coming up every week, and you need the platform that lets you experiment and innovate. And the key is that you can future-proof your own innovation. You don't have to make long-term bets right now. You can try things out. You can let your teams try things out. And so you can have this innovation, but maintain some control over that innovation. And if you're one of the people that's approached me this week and said you're so tired of hearing about AI, you just have more mundane problems, you call them, to solve, all of the innovation that we're building into Kubernetes today helps you too. Faster startups, lower latency, the stability, it's all improving for use cases that aren't even about AI. So I'm super excited. We see the future of Kubernetes shifting from being a platform for building platforms to being this nervous system for autonomous infrastructure. And I can't wait to see what we all build together. Thank you so much and have a great show.